Whenever you hear the phrase market research, what pops into your head? For most of us, it's that boring corporate picture. Clipboard, surveys, endless spreadsheets, maybe a soulless PowerPoint deck. And don't worry, I used to think that too. Early on, I figured market research meant scrolling competitor websites or going through their Google reviews. But then, one client project really early on in my career completely changed everything. I was sure that I knew their audience inside and out until I had a few casual, open-ended conversations with real clients of theirs, which revealed a blind spot to me that completely changed the entire brand strategy. And let me tell you, it was really humbling. And it taught me that research isn't just about the numbers and crossing something off the list, but is actually about curiosity and trust. The real breakthroughs wind up happening when you ask sharper founder level questions. These are the kind of questions that reveal how people actually think and buy. And when you truly understand how your audience shops, talks, and what they really struggle with, it truly changes everything about how you build your brand. Now, in this video, I am sharing 5 market research questions every smart founder needs to be asking before making big moves in their business or with their brand. And these are the exact ones that I use with my one-on-one brand strategy clients. And they're the difference between just throwing spaghetti at the wall and creating a brand that people just can't stop talking about. And don't miss the 5th question, because it really is the game changer here. It shaped how I price, how I package, and even how I talk about my own offers. So stick around for that because I promise you it is worth it. But before that, if you're new here, my name is Hunter Myers and I am the face and mind behind Verdure Design Co. Through strategy-led design, I help bold founders build magnetic brands that sell with clarity and confidence. And here on this channel, we treat branding a little bit like dating because both require chemistry, commitment, and knowing who the hell you're trying to attract. All right, now let's dig in. The first market research question I always ask is, what brands are your ideal clients and customers already obsessed with? And here's why. The brands these people already love tell you a whole lot about what they care about, what they're attracted to, and their worldviews. Think about someone who shops at Whole Foods, for example, versus someone who shops at Aldi. One is signaling something to the effect of, I care about organic quality and sustainability, maybe even a little prestige. The other is saying, I'm practical, I love a deal, I don't need all the frills. Neither is right or wrong, but both reveal to you some of the values of these customers. And this makes me think of when I worked with a wellness coach last year. This question cracked her positioning wide open and allowed us to build a brand that got people purchasing high-ticket items the moment they entered her website. You see, her audience kept mentioning brands like Patagonia, Everlane, Lululemon, that kind of thing. Brands that are known for some of that ethical production, but also a very minimalist wellness design. Instantly, we knew that her own brand had to have that same calm wellness feeling, as well as a clean and very intentional aesthetic, because that's what her people were drawn to. And if we hadn't have asked, we might have completely missed that mark. So here's some questions to ask yourself. What brands are my audience already loyal to? What do those brands say about their lifestyle? And how am I similar or intentionally different from those brands? Once you see those patterns, you'll know whether to lead into health and quality like Whole Foods does, or smart choices and simplicity like the brand Aldi. This one insight alone can position your brand in a way that feels instantly relatable and trustworthy. And it can help guide your visuals, your pricing, as well as your messaging so that you are attracting the right people. So once you know which brands already have their heart, the next is figuring out how they actually decide to buy. Because love for a brand is one thing, but the way they research tells you how to actually reach them. So here comes the second question. Where do they actually go to learn new things? Or where do they go before making a buying decision? Do they scroll through Reddit threads late at night? Do they ask for advice in private Facebook groups? Are they someone who's gonna binge 10 YouTube reviews before ever making a purchase? Or maybe they someone who just goes and wants a recommendation from a friend. Because if you don't know where they're learning, there's a good chance you are going to be showing up in the wrong place with your marketing. And that is a waste of time, money, energy, and we don't have a lot of that necessarily as business owners, right? This is the trap that I see so many founders falling into. They're posting everywhere, they're chasing every trend, and burning time on platforms that their audience doesn't even use. Here's the thing, most audiences only trust a few key sources. And when you can identify those, your marketing can get laser focused on targeting those places. For example, if your audience relies on YouTube for research, you can skip chasing every Instagram trend. Instead, put that energy into how-to detailed YouTube videos, the kind that build trust and naturally lead to more sales. Let's say they're the kind of audience that spends time in private Facebook groups. Then you need to be showing up there. Consistent, genuine communication in those communities can drive way more qualified leads for you than funneling a bunch of money into paid ads. See where I'm going with this? So I want you to ask yourself, where does your audience go when they don't know the answer? Who are they listening to? What platform or person do they trust most? We asked this question for Good Judy's, which was a brand that I worked with previously. They're a bagel and espresso shop. And what we learned was one of their main audiences was stay-at-home moms. They were searching for all of their information from local mom blogs. And so what we did is we crafted a PR campaign to reach out and pitch stories to these local mom blogs talking about Good Judy's opening up in their neighborhood, why it's a great family-friendly place, and why they should spend their time stopping by, whether it is before taking the kids to soccer practice, going for a run at the grocery store, or just to get a little break from the kids at home. You see, once you've mapped out your audience's trusted spaces, it's time for you to get even closer to them. So you've figured out what brands they like, where they're looking for research. Now let's get even closer. We want to figure out what these people are actually saying inside of those spaces. And that's where the gold lives. So here's the third question. How is your audience actually describing their problem? This one is a game changer because the words your audience uses are often very different from the polished words you yourself are using in your marketing. For example, a business consultant might say, you need operational clarity to scale your systems. Their clients or customers are likely not speaking like that. Instead, they're probably saying something to the effect of, I feel like my team is all over the place and nothing is sticking. Do you feel that difference? One is very technical, while the other is very raw, human, and emotional. And it's that emotional language that truly resonates with people. Real-world brands are doing this magnificently right now. Take Glossier, for instance. They don't just sell skincare, but they speak the way their audience talks about beauty frustrations. Or look at Spotify. They don't say, we just offer audio streaming services. They say music for every mood. You see, these brands are capturing the language of how their audience feels, not just what they as a business do or offer. Here's a personal example. For my own brand, which I do branding and design services, I had been describing my services as a way to elevate your brand, but I was finding that that was not really sticking. Instead, what I learned is that my audience was oftentimes saying something to the effect of, well, I feel like my brand is good enough, but at the same time, I'm just not attracting the kinds of people that I want to be working with. So I changed my marketing language to say, we help you turn good enough visuals into brands that your dream clients can't ignore. See the difference? When you're doing this market research, I want you to pay really close attention to how your audience describes their pain points, their frustrations, and their desires. Screenshot those testimonials. Read the comments. Take notes on phrases that they're using. Those will become your secret weapon in your messaging. And don't paraphrase these, okay? Use the exact language that they are using. Make them feel like you are in their head. Because using these exact phrases builds trust like crazy. Because it has your audience saying, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been experiencing. This is exactly what I've been saying. This is exactly what I need. Now, once you know how your audience is talking about their challenges, the next question is going to dive even deeper. You see the theme that we're doing here, guys? We want to know what they've already tried and how they felt about it, because that's where you start to find opportunities that you can really stand out. So the fourth question to ask is, what solutions has your audience already tried and how do they feel about their experience with those solutions, the solutions themselves, and what they got from that? This question is gold. It's where you uncover the gaps between what people wanted and what they actually experienced. And those gaps are the exact keys to positioning your brand as the exact solution they have been searching for. For example, someone might say, I hired a marketing coach before, but it didn't really feel like they got my vision. Or, I tried that online yoga class, but got lost in the crowd and felt ignored. The words didn't get my vision and ignored are pure insight because they reveal frustration, disappointment, and unmet expectations. And you can turn those into and leverage them as a way to position your brand as the better optimal choice. And globally, brands are nailing this approach. Take Dyson, the vacuum cleaners. They listened to customers' complaints about old vacuums leaving dust behind and built a really strong narrative about powerful suction and efficiency. Or Zoom, their messaging during the pandemic, highlighted the frustrations that people already had with clunky video calls. So they leaned in and said, work from anywhere without the lag. See, these brands didn't just sell a product, they addressed a pain people had already experienced. When doing market research, I also want you to go beyond asking what they've already tried and ask them, how did it feel? What did they like or dislike? How did it impact them emotionally? These answers show you exactly where your brand can step in, do it better, and build trust. Now, once you've uncovered what's been tried and how it felt, the next and arguably most important question is all about understanding the real cost of inaction. And this fifth question will completely change how you think about your audience's needs. But before jumping onto that last question, here's what I want you to remember. Market research isn't just about collecting data. It is about listening. It's about paying attention to the brands that people love, the places they go to learn, the words they use, and the experiences they've had. When you build your brand on that kind of insight, your marketing stops feeling like guesswork because you're no longer just shouting into the void, but you're actually speaking your audience's language. And now here's the fifth question. What happens if they decide not to fix their problem? This is the question that cuts through everything else because it reveals the real cost of staying stuck in inaction. Think about it. If your audience doesn't move forward, what pain are they going to be living with? Maybe it's wasted time, lost revenue, missed opportunities, or the stress of feeling like they're constantly behind. But it's rarely just the practical stuff. There's always an emotional toll as well. Maybe it's embarrassment, burnout, the quiet fear that maybe they're not cut out for this. And I see this all the time with founders. A client of mine ran a wellness brand and kept postponing her website design. On paper, the delay just meant a few lost sales. But when we really dug in, she admitted that she dreaded sending people to her website. And she felt stuck and uninspired every time she opened her laptop. That emotional weight was the true cost and the thing that finally motivated her to act. And emotional pain is one of the greatest motivators for action. Big brands understand this too. Peloton, for example, leans into the frustration of I don't have time to go to the gym, framing their bikes as the cure for wasted hours and stagnant routines. And language learning apps like Duolingo highlight the regret of never traveling confidently or advancing in your career. See, they're not just selling convenience, they're selling freedom from the pain of standing still. And when you understand the cost of inaction for your audience, you can position your offer as the bridge that gets them out of that pain. And here's the key. Don't just think about the practical stuff, think about the emotional stuff too. If nothing changes, what does their life look like 6 months from now? How will it feel if they're in the same place next year? What's the personal cost of them not fixing this? When you can articulate that cost of inaction, sometimes even better than your audience can, you can position your offer as the bridge out of their pain. And that's why this fifth question is such a game changer. It doesn't just help you sell, it helps you show that you truly understand the stakes. The 5 market research questions that every smart founder asks. Number 1, what brands are they already obsessed with? Number 2, where do they actually go to learn and make decisions? Number 3, how are they describing their own problem in their own words? Number 4, what solution have they already tried and how did those experiences feel? And the big one, what happens if they don't fix this? When you weave the answers together, you stop guessing. You're not spraying content everywhere or shouting into the void. You're speaking directly to the people you want to be serving in a language and on a platform that they already trust. This is what turns market research from a spreadsheet chore into a founder superpower. It's how you build a brand that feels magnetic because it's built on understandings instead of just assumptions. Now, if you're ready to put these questions to work, I would love to help you out. You can book a one-on-one brand audit with me or check out some of my done-for-you brand strategy and design services. Links for those are down in the description. And of course, hit subscribe for more real-life brand examples, breakdowns, and behind-the-scenes tips because building a brand isn't about guessing. It's about listening, learning, and creating something people can't stop talking about. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next video.